Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Chefs panel. Today, we're discussing 30 Plants a Week Chef Challenge. We have our lovely team of chefs. We have Ollie.
Hello.
And we have Alex.
Hello.
And I have myself, Justina. So today, let me introduce you a little bit about our topic. So we're going to discuss our lovely 30 Plants a Week challenge. This challenge has been done with 2018 large study group by British and American Gut Project. So thousands of people were involved in this lovely project, and they have noticed amazing benefits for the gut after the challenge. So what we did, so for a week, all the chefs here have been eating more plants. So if you start thinking 30 plants a week might sound like a large number, but you actually would be happy to know that vegetables, fruits, grains, nuts, seeds, and even herbs counts towards your 30 plants. So it's a little bit easier than you think, but might need a bit of planning. So I would like to pick our chef's brains and see how they got along with our project. So since everybody have done the 30 plant challenge over the past week, how did you get to your 30 plants, Alex?
Well, I did it. I got to 32, which was really interesting doing it. I found that the start of the week was really easy because you're, just like, I'm having potatoes, I'm having sweet potatoes, all the usual stuff that I generally eat. But towards the end of the week, and I was sort of like adding up, and I'd had 20 different types of fruit and veg. So I had to go to the supermarket and, like, oh, what we're going to get that? Should I have that? And I don't fancy a leek. So there was a little bit towards the end where I was like a student cramming for an exam, making sure that I did get to the challenge. So yeah, I did, and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Ollie, how did you find it?
Really good. It seems like a huge number, but when I started to do it and I realized I could incorporate herbs and include things like that, spices even, it wasn't a problem at all. And I think I actually do it most weeks. I think I just counted them, and 52 was my number. But yeah, the numbers decreased as the week went on. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, huge amounts. And then by Sunday, there was no new. Obviously, I was eating vegetables and fruit and things, but there were no new introductions. So yeah, as the week went on, it got less and less.
Yeah, that's exactly what I found as well. So I got to 38, but it's just one of those things when you do your big shopping, you sort of have it looks like your basket is really big with all the vegetables and fruit. But if you have tomatoes, let's say you have 20 tomatoes in there, you count some tomatoes at the start of the week, and towards the end of the week, you're still eating those tomatoes, but they don't quite count as 30 different sort of vegetables. So that's the key sort of principle, that you eat different things. So if you keep eating tomatoes every day, it's amazing, but you count it as one plant because you already had tomatoes that week. Obviously, if you're trying of different tomatoes, there are some cheats because there's no really strict rules. So perhaps if you have red tomatoes, you have yellow tomatoes, you perhaps could count them as two. So it's just one of those things that you can bend the rules a little bit just to help you out sort of eating more vegetables if you're not used to it. But do you have any unique plant chefs that you have consumed which you think one of us haven't? Ollie?
Probably a little bit different from your general weekly shopping, I'd imagine. Dandelion root was one of mine, which is, it probably was a common ingredient a long time ago in this country, but not so much these days. It's got a lot of health properties to it. I was having dandelion coffee, which is where the roots roasted, and because I've been trying to drink less coffee, and this is a good alternative. It's quite bitter and similar properties. And hemp, in the terms of hemp protein, so those packets you see, that's turned into a powder. Alfalfa sprouts, again, you can find them in supermarkets. They're like sprouted little alfalfas. in the vegetable section. That's quite unusual, perhaps. And I've included nettle in terms of nettle tea. I'm not sure if that is allowed or not. But yeah, again, I wasn't eating the whole leaf or anything. That was in the terms of a tea. So those are quite unusual, I guess. But I don't know. We'll see what else. Alex, have you got any unusual?
Well, I'm not sure that I did eat anything that was particularly unusual. I had soybeans, but those they're available in the supermarket. Pea shoots when I was out for lunch one day. But really, I don't think that there was anything that I wouldn't have had ordinarily or wouldn't appear on someone else's menu. I was looking for stuff to top it up to 30, but I was still sticking to kind of firm favorites. So I guess I'm a bit dull with this one. So no, I don't think I had anything that was wildly exciting.
Yeah, I think it's different. For example, like even the pea shoot sounds so simple. Perhaps anybody can have them because nowadays you get them in the salad bags, but I haven't. I think from my sort of funky things, I sort of did a bit of let's say foraging. So I looked after my friend's garden while she was away, and she had black currants and gooseberries, and she was growing some courgettes. So I have some courgette flowers, sort of batter them and air fry them, and they were really nice. As well, same as Ollie had a chicory coffee. So it's similar to dandelion coffee. It's just a different plant root. It's also really bitter, which I also looked into a little bit more. So nowadays people do put a bit of chicory roots in the instant coffee to get that a bit of a bitterness out of it. So it's a cheap product. And sometimes in essence and like coffee flavored things, there will be chicory root just to have a bit of a bitterness to it. So even though I don't think it's something widely crazy, but I think it's just one of those things sometimes you don't get in your small local supermarkets. And it just adds that extra number to your weekly count. Okay, brilliant. So now, most important things, difficulty. So is there any difficulties or challenges? Any recommendations you would have? Alex?
I didn't find it difficult, but I had towards the end of the week have to go to the supermarket and sort of look around for different sorts of veg that are not eaten. But that wasn't a difficult thing. It was more of a practical or a planning part. So I didn't find the challenge difficult. And similarly to what Ollie was saying, is that I probably eat about 28 thereabouts. Different veg anyway throughout the week, so I didn't find it difficult. But what was really useful was to do dishes that had lots of different ingredients and lots of different veggies in there. So like soups, we've got a nice recipe on our website, butternut squash soup, and you can put in just about anything you fancy in there, and that's a great way of topping up your number.
Okay, brilliant. Ollie, is there anything you think is useful to point out?
No, I think that's a good idea. Look for seasonal veg when you go to the supermarket, and maybe consider making a few changes, like swap. Like if you've got a few go-to things, just perhaps use kale instead of spinach, or try and swap out a few things. Also, you could perhaps do a veg box if that's viable to you, because then you're always going to get a variety, and you have to kind of brainstorm and think what you're going to make this week with that veg you get. And also having lots of things in the freezer, because that way, because we talked about, you do your shop, and then as the week goes on, the diversity gets less and less. But if you've always got plenty of things in your freezer, they're not going to go off, and you've always got access to them. So that would be a recommendation as well, I think.
Yeah, that's really brilliant ideas. I think it's one of those things that nowadays you can still be on the go, especially in summer seasons. It's lovely because in summer you have a lot of things in season, as you guys mentioned, but it's also you want to go, you want to have perhaps a hike or go for a walk. But it's just that point in what do you pack? Perhaps you are craving a chocolate bar, but perhaps in the pocket you have nuts. Nuts counts towards your weekly count, and chocolate doesn't, unfortunately. So it's just one of these.
I think it does. I think it does. I do. I think it. I didn't actually eat any, but I did read that it's the dark, unprocessed chocolate. Now that might be a bit controversial, so have a check.
Yeah. Yeah, well, depends. I guess it's one of those things with chocolate you go for. So the idea of the challenge that you try to go with as little processed things. So it's one of those things that if you're eating whole grain bread, is whole grain is good, but processed bread is less so. But if you're having your brown rice, which is amazing, it actually counts towards your 30 plants a week. So it's just planning in advance and having an idea, as people said, like shopping and having perhaps a list of things to get. So even if you're shopping things out of your ordinary shopping list and having those specifically snacks in mind, that is really easy to reach out for something a bit sweeter or a bit too more processed. Just even slices of apple. Yes, apple in the fruit bowl looks beautiful, but will you reach for that apple when you feel a bit hungry just before lunch? Or if you slice the apple in the morning and have it ready sliced in your fridge and just take it out on a hot day, fresh sliced fruit could be your go-to, which counts towards your 30 plants. Brilliant. So let's go to our next question from our listeners. What are the key benefits of incorporating different plants in your diet and impacting our overall health and well-being? Ollie, please.
Well, if we're getting a rainbow of vegetables and fruits and a diversity, then we're also getting a nutrient diversity. So this is going to be good for getting a variety of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and all those phytonutrients and things that plants and vegetables all have. And this could also help your gut, because most vegetables and lots of fruits have probiotic qualities as well. So that's going to help feed your gut bacteria and promote a good immune system and all that. Also, weight management. If you're eating lots of fiber in vegetables and fruit, this is going to help with your satiety and help with your weight management and help you feel longer for longer. Help you feel fuller for longer. Sorry. So yeah, those are certainly some of the better things of eating 30 diverse plants and vegetables throughout the week.
Yeah, thank you. Alex, anything to add?
Yeah, the great thing about this challenge is that you probably, well, for many people, you'll be eating more veg than you would have done. So you've just got to think a little bit outside of the box. And by doing that, you're adding a kind of a bit of an encouragement, I think, to eat more interesting foods. So you don't just slip into having the same old thing each day, sort of potatoes and something else. So by having the challenge, you're kind of forcing yourself, and if live with your family, to have a wider diversity. So it's going to be a lot more interesting. So you might look at more recipes and alternatives. So you kind of developing your skills as a chef, and but also involving the family in the cooking process. So you sort of it's kind of an interest thing as well as just being as Ollie was saying, good for weight management and so on and so forth. But it's a kind of adding an extra bit of interest to meal times.
I think that's a really good point. I didn't actually think of that. I was just thinking about the health aspects, but yeah, definitely the kind of interest and the excitement of creating new dishes. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I think everything is just very well covered by you guys. I think it's just to add that we all should aim for 5 plants a day as a general standard, but it has been shown in research that more is merrier. So 5 is achievable by everyone, should be achievable, but if we aim for 7 or 10, would actually give more benefits. But because, as Ollie mentioned, just eating the rainbow, eating more of different plants really helps our just general well-being. And then has been some research showed that actually helps towards cancer fighting with your own body whilst consuming more different vegetables. So looking into different foods and just getting used to foods. Even if you're someone perhaps who's a bit shy, perhaps you didn't have a lot of different fruits and they're just sticking with the same kind, try incorporating them slowly. Because some people get put off if they try something new and it doesn't perhaps agree with them. You don't have to jump in and commit straight away. You're just going to add slowly into your diet so it doesn't upset your system, and then introducing it throughout the week. And it still counts as one per sort of week in your 30-day challenge, even if you have a little bit. So ideally 80 grams per day of your fruit or vegetables, just to add up to your one per day. But if you can eat more than one, whilst 30 just brings it around 4 and a bit of fruit and vegetables throughout the week. So it should be very much achievable. Okay, shall we go to the next question? So any advice how individuals could do this challenge on the budget or limited access to fresh produce and still manage to get those 30 plants a week? Alex, please.
Well, kind of picking up from what Ollie was saying really about using the freezer, frozen vegetables have got just as much or almost the same amount of benefit as fresh veg, but as Ollie was saying, they're not going to go off. So you can use, you can buy stuff and store it and then use it as you want. Also tinned. Now, tin does get a bad rap. But it's not that bad. Well, it depends if it's in salty, sugary water. But if it's just in water or vacuum packed, then there's lots and lots of benefits to be said for eating tinned veg. Now, with my challenge, I didn't particularly go for any posh or expensive veg. But I did have asparagus, but we're now in asparagus season, I think. So they would be a little bit cheaper this time of year than if you bought them outside. Yeah, I'd go for a bit of planning, maybe visiting your greengrocers, which may be a little bit cheaper than the supermarket, but also using frozen veg and maybe some tin too.
Yeah, brilliant. Ollie.
Yeah, definitely. Again, choosing seasonal produce can often be cheaper, and using local shops often be cheaper. Some people are surprised about that. Grow your own. If you've got a small bit of land or windowsill or anything, that's obviously going to be cheaper. I've been growing ginger recently in little pots, and that's amazing. It just put it in a pot and it just does its thing. It just multiplies. Incredible. And herbs as well. Really, really good way to grow them. Also things like community gardens, food banks, if you're struggling there. Farmers markets, often seen as like the prerogative of the middle class, but you can often find cheaper produce there, and obviously in season. And planning as well. I think Alex might have mentioned that. But yeah, plan your meals ahead, plan your week ahead is a really good way to make use of things and to reduce your waste as well.
Yeah, that's a brilliant point about waste. We always think how to get more, but if we're not used to cooking with more, then it might just become waste. So it's just once again a freezing. Perhaps if you have an amazing deal or something of some fresh vegetables, which you can then prepare and freeze them and you use them for a bit longer, then just in that 1 week where it goes off because you haven't completed eating everything. I think also looking for deals. Nowadays, a lot of things now on the internet or even on adverts saying, "Oh, buy one get one free." Obviously, don't get tricked into that if you're not gonna consume. So think, can you freeze this? Can you make a meal out of it and meal prep and then freeze that? Because perhaps you're doing this challenge for more than just a 1 week, maybe it's a month. So perhaps you prepare some meals with amazing vegetables inside and then you freeze it and then you take it out next week and have the same, perhaps 5 or even 6 different vegetables in one dish. So planning in advance if you perhaps don't feel up for standing every day and cooking a lot of food, seeing what you can make with fresh produce, and then obviously finding those deals perhaps on the internet and seeing what weekly deals in each shop is. So if you are planning a trip, perhaps if you are able to visit a couple different shops to get your best discounted things, and once again, it's likely to be very much of a seasonal thing, but it's just worth having a little bit of a hunt for your cheaper offers. So let's go to some examples of everyday meals or snack recipes which help to increase the number of plants consumed. So, Ollie, do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, I've got a good suggestion from our website, the pad thai. I've been making that. It's a great way of getting loads of veg in your diet. I mean, it's got 2 different kinds of onions in there. It's got ginger, it's got garlic, carrot, broccoli, peas, all cheap vegetables, but such a variety of colors and nutrition. It's got fresh lime juice in there, coriander. It's got all this. It's even got 5-spice, Chinese 5-spice, which is, if we're including spices, that's made up of 5 different spices. It's got cinnamon, star anise in there. So yeah, that would be one of my go-tos, one of my recommendations. And then things like salads. We're supposedly in summer, so we've got lots of simple salads you can make just using seasonable veg and stuff you got in the freezer as well. So yeah, that's what I would suggest.
All right, Alex, any of your favorite recipes perhaps you do every day?
Yeah, well, I do like soups. I mean, it's a great way to use up whatever you've got in. And part of the cookery demonstrations that we do as chefs, often I would certainly include a soup. It's a nice, easy dish to prepare and divide it, and people can enjoy that. So the soup that I mentioned a little bit earlier was the butternut squash soup, and beyond the recipe you can just put in really whatever you've got in, but it's got lentils in there, good source of protein. I think it's got sweet potatoes and carrots. You can put some peas in there as well, which is a good source of protein. So yeah, I would go for that, but also we've got a recipe for a milkshake. So soya plant milk shake with banana and peanut butter. So you're getting a little bit of protein from the peanut butter. Is that your dog, Ollie? and a banana in there. So you're getting part of your going towards your 30th day with the peanuts and also with the banana, but you're also getting a refreshing drink. So you're getting a little bit of hydration. So those would be my 2. But I think just following a little bit from what Ollie had said with the pad thai, I can't remember exactly, but tofu apparently also counts within this 30. So it's another one of your points.
Yeah, that pad thai's got tofu in it. I was just mentioning the vegetables. So yeah, even things like
tofu. I think tofu counts.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think going from Ollie's idea about salads, my favorite recipe, which I wrote myself, but is the cauliflower one with tahini recipes. Also on our website has 12 plants, which when you think salad, people just like to put some leaf, a bit of tomato, and that's sort of salad as we know it. But I think it's amazing to have a bit of nutrients. So it does take a bit of prep to do if you're roasting cauliflower, or even put them in the air fryer just to speed things up if it's a hot day. But it has almonds and have pomegranates and tahini made out of sesame seeds. So it's up to you if you want to count it towards your 30 plant challenge. But it's just loads of amazing things, and most importantly, it's nutritionally dense. So it's just adding a little bit of extra nutrients in the day where perhaps you're a bit too warm, you don't feel like a big meal, but you're still getting all these good calories and counting towards your 30 plants a week, which it's all win-win really. Okay.
Yeah, that recipe you just mentioned. I mean, I do like the pad thai, but the roasted cauliflower is one that I do as a demonstration. I actually fry I know it's your recipe, but I actually fry the cauliflower. I don't always have access to an oven, but it really is a lovely salad. Beyond normal salad, if you like, as you were saying, with tomatoes and cucumber and stuff, it's absolutely lovely, and the dressing is fantastic. So yeah, I wanted to choose that for this challenge as a recommendation, but you picked me to it, Justine, and so you should, because it was your recipe.
Yeah, I think you. But it's one of those things you will find the recipes to click in the links below, so you don't have to try to write it down what it would mean. It will be nice and easy to just take you straight to the recipes. And let's go to our final thoughts. How do you think the challenge will work for caterers preparing meals for those living in care establishments? Ollie, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think care establishments and organizations really need to menu plan. It's probably, I mean, they have to do that already, but that's a really good way that they can look at week ahead and try and get more veg and fruits and grains and things in. Bulk purchasing is again probably something they do, but a great way of planning and making sure they get plant-based ingredients throughout the week. Simple recipes is always going to be good. Soups, stews, salads, things like that. Patient preferences, that's or clients and resident preferences. Always consider the needs of your clients. That's essential, and make sure they enjoy them and they're going to get enough nutrition in their diet as well. You can also embark on some training, something we can deliver as well. We can come in and show you how you can better incorporate diversity of plants into your diet. Collaborate with nutritionists, that's an option as well. That's something you could, I mean, that's really sort of taking things to another level, but it's something you could also consider in a care environment, especially if you have patients or clients or residents who have specific illnesses or needs as well. But yeah, it's totally doable.
Yeah, Alex, anything else?
Oh, you've covered most things there, Ollie. I mean, obviously it's planning, and as you were saying, Ollie, about the preferences of the people that are being cared for. If you were to give them some foods that they were unfamiliar with and perhaps rejected, then however nutritionally beneficial that food is, if it's not consumed, there's no benefit. So you still maybe need to work within a framework of what people are used to. But having said that, things like cottage pie, stews, curries, soups, you can hide all sorts of veg in, or include all sorts of different veg in there, and so that there'll be a greater diversity of fruits and veg within very familiar foods. But obviously it's going to make a difference on what sort of care setting you're at, and also what budgets caterers are working towards.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. The budget is the tricky one, but swapping things, when you think about a dish, perhaps you can add more lentils and other ingredients because lentils are cheap and they're amazing nutrition lentils. But some things just don't think about it, because it's people like to make recipes as they used to. So I would suggest revisiting your recipes again and seeing what changes you can make to include a bit more plants into those simple everyday recipes. As Alex said, it don't change what the recipe is and how it tastes, just makes it a little bit more better. And it's just adding snacks. If you know me, I snack a lot, and that's where I'm like, every time I feel a bit peckish, I try to consciously make this decision that I'm not gonna go for the chocolate bar, I'm going for the nuts. So it's just one of those things, having those things available. Perhaps once again, back to sliced fruit, maybe it's vegetable sticks for those who feel a bit of a salty snack. Once again, we have loads of recipes for dips, so hummus, maybe some avocado sort of mashed on the side. Just one of those things that people could pick throughout the day, but once again, counts towards more plants throughout the whole day. Even sponges, adding almonds in sponges, having a bit of fresh fruit on the side is just one of those things just to add up. So thank you very much for all your brilliant ideas, and I would ask you each to give me some final thoughts from today. As a summary, what is your key take from this amazing challenge? Alex?
I'd give it a go. I really enjoyed doing it, and I found it interesting, and it took me out of my, not comfort, but it made me sort of think about what I was eating more. So I would definitely recommend it, and it's interesting to record what fruit and veg you do eat throughout the week. But yeah, give it a go. That's my takeaway. Like, just give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easier than you think. If you start looking at what you actually eat, you might be doing it already. You really might. And I just wanted to say one thing about you talking about fortifying foods. I've been making little chocolate cupcakes for my son and fortifying them with courgette, spinach, banana, loads of stuff in there. And he doesn't even know, and he's just like, chocolate. So yeah.
He will if he watches this.
He won't understand it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's just as people hidden vegetables. It's just one of those things. But yeah, brilliant ideas, and I do agree with both of you. You just have to try it, and you're not cheating anybody. If you don't hit 30 plans a week, just see what you can do differently next week, and it's just a bit of a play, a bit of something different, and just makes you to think of new recipes, looking into new ideas, and it just makes every day a bit more fun. So why not to try this? But thank you very much. And if you guys all like and subscribe to get more of these videos, that would be amazing. And I will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.